Hi students. In this video we're continuing our lectures on the intellectual standards. Remember, these are just these standards that we use to assess our thinking to see if we are truly thinking critically. The one we talk about in this video is significance. So, significance. Is it important, crucial, essential, critical? How many of you have ever been working with someone before and they're really trying to hone in on these one set of facts or issues or something like that, but you don't really think it's that important to what you're trying to achieve? That's what we're talking about here. Obviously, in some cases, we're not going to be able to solve every single complexity of the issue that we're faced with dealing with. So we want to focus on what's most important in that issue to see if we can't solve or find a fix for that issue instead of the things that aren't as crucial or essential. While we think critically, we should focus on the important facts, issues, information, not the trivial things. So again, we don't want to spin our wheels and waste a lot of time on trivial things. We want to focus on the most important stuff, the most crucial information, because that's where we're going to make the biggest impact with our solutions and our answers and whatever it is that we're trying to figure out in our thinking. A lot of times we fail in our thinking because we do not recognize that all ideas are not equally important. Some of them might be relevant to the issue. I know the other day in my face-to-face class we made a mind map about gun-related deaths in the United States. And we did it to demonstrate how complex the issue is. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into gun-related deaths. We all think about mass shootings because that's what we see in the media a lot. But number one gun-related deaths in the United States are suicides. So if we were really going to focus in on making the biggest, most significant impact, we might just focus on gun-related suicides. The second most gun-related deaths in the United States were crime-related. So there would be a lot of things that would go into fixing that issue. But if we really wanted to make the biggest impact in gun-related deaths and trying to lessen that number in the United States, we would focus on the most significant numbers, which really isn't the mass shootings that we see about in the media all the time. It's suicides and crime-related. So we need to focus on the most relevant, the most important. If we fail to ask the most important questions and we become trapped by thinking only in superficial terms, asking questions of little weight, then we're not really thinking critically. We're not really getting the best solutions because we're not fixing the most significant problems. Critical thinking involves not spinning your wheels about things that aren't important. So this includes arguing and debating about things that aren't really significant. We don't want to waste our time. It is a waste of time. We only have a certain amount of time. So focus only on things that matter to our problem and our issue. And when it comes down to like those gun-related issues, of course the mass shootings matter. They're important. But what matters the most? Where can we make the biggest impact? That's what we were asking in that question. So in that way it helped us to determine what information was most significant in that problem we were dealing with. So things to ask. Is this the most important problem to consider? Is there a central idea that I need to focus on? You can even go back to your problem or your purpose statement that we wrote when we were talking about the elements of thought. Go back to your purpose and the question that you're trying to answer and see, is this part of the issue or this part of the information, is it significant enough to make a dent in this problem that I'm trying to solve, or the question that I'm trying to answer? Which of these facts are most important? Did I include the most important ideas? And this is important to ask yourself in your research or any problem that you're trying to solve or decision that you're trying to make, because sometimes the most important, most significant things are the most complex and the hardest ones to find a solution for. And sometimes we tend to get lazy and we're like, oh, that's going to be too hard. Even though it's the most significant and the most important, it's going to be too hard, so I'm just going to go on to something else. That's not good critical thinking. So you want to make sure that you include the most important, significant things. Did I cover only what was necessary for my argument? Again, don't get lazy. Cover all the most significant things. Did I leave out anything important? And activity time. Think of a time when you witnessed unimportant, trivial things being brought up in an argument or an issue. First of all, why did you think that they were not significant? Why were they not important enough? And then number two, how did that make you feel? When someone's bringing up something that's trivial, that doesn't really have a lot of impact, when you could be focusing on things that are way more important and significant for this issue. A lot of times that leads to frustration, right? So I kind of want you just to think about a time when this has happened and how did it make you feel and why did you think they weren't significant? Maybe even think about what would have been more significant that you could have focused on. We'll continue with the rest of the universal standards in the next video.